Okay, well, it didn't take long. A new head basketball coach has been named here at the University of Alabama. Nate Oats, coming from Buffalo. He's been there for 4 seasons. He took his team 3 out of those 4 seasons to the NCAA tournament. Just had 4 losses this season, and now he's the new head basketball coach here at Alabama. Matt Zenitz here, our SEC insider, to talk about this new hire, what we can expect from him, and what are some of the biggest needs for Alabama. And we'll just start with the quick process here. Avery Johnson is out on Sunday, and it's now Thursday, and he's been introduced as the head coach, Nate Oats.
Yeah, well, Greg Byrne has a history of getting these hires and coaching searches done pretty quickly. So as our colleague Reiner Saban has pointed out, made the hire 75 hours after officially parting ways with Avery Johnson. And at the beginning of the process, Greg Byrne had said that he was going to be thorough, but at the same time efficient with getting this done. And so he went to Buffalo to meet with Nate Oats and his family this week, and Nate Oats actually accepted the job when at that point had still not yet been to Alabama to even see it in person yet.
Yeah, not to mention we're still in the midst of the NCAA tournament, this Sweet 16 happening this upcoming weekend, obviously into the Elite 8. One thing Greg Byrne did point out too, the Mrs. Oats making some phenomenal enchiladas. That was the big thing he pointed out during that press conference. Now, obviously, a lot of other great things coming out of this press conference as well. What was your biggest takeaway, and what impressed you most about Nate Oats and what he had to say about what he wants to bring to the table here at Coleman Coliseum and for this Alabama men's basketball program?
I got to see for myself and experience for myself some of the things that I'd heard and read about him. So he just seems like a real guy, a good guy that, I mean, if you talk to people in the basketball world, I mean, he's not a BSer. I mean, he's somebody who shoots it straight while at the same time being a very good basketball coach. And this is somebody who is an absolute home run for Alabama. This is a hire that the feedback that I've heard so far from people in the basketball world has been excellent for Alabama with being able to get him in here. And somebody who, I mean, people knew that he was going to have interest from other places as far as opportunities based on what he had done the last few years in Buffalo. So Buffalo, which was far from a basketball school when he took over as head coach 4 years ago. I mean, his 4 years as head coach took them to the NCAA tournament 3 of those 4 years when, in the history of that school, which goes back, I want to say, around 100 years, before he was head coach, they'd only gone to the NCAA tournament 1 time. So really did a terrific job there. And I think people here, as far as the administration, Greg Byrne, have a lot of reason to be optimistic for the direction of the program moving forward, just based on some of the characteristics that he has and just what he had done the last few years at Buffalo.
Yeah, and one big thing he's known for, and you could see it in the press conference, obviously you come in, you know, there's obviously got to be some nerves going, but he's a high energy guy. He comes in with a lot of energy, great personality. So I think it's something that the fans and really the program and the university will love. He talked about the football program a lot. He'd had a chance to talk with Nick Saban about what they've developed here as a football school and really a nationally recognized program, and obviously pointing to the football program for that. So I think that's a big component here. So as we wrap this up, I want to know from you, Matt, what are the greatest needs that you think that he can come in and fulfill pretty immediately as he becomes the new head basketball coach here at Alabama?
Recruiting, 100%. When I say recruiting this current roster, especially, you know, some guys that went into the transfer portal this week, most notably Kyra Lewis, who he actually talked to this morning before the press conference and got started with that early as far as the recruitment, the re-recruitment of Kyra, because it is 100% a priority for them to get Kyra back on board here and for him to be a part of this roster moving forward. And then it seems like there's potentially a Buffalo target recruiting-wise that they could potentially add here. So a 3-star center who was leaning towards committing to Buffalo that actually just got an offer from Alabama last night. It seems like there's a decent chance that he could end up here, but the biggest priority, no question whatsoever, is getting, at the very least, Kyra Lewis back on board and just, once again, re-recruiting some of the guys that are currently on this roster.
That's one thing he really pointed to in sort of his Q&A after his press conference was, we got to develop relationships with these guys that are already here, let them know, you know, what we're all about, get those relationships developed so that they can make that decision that this is where they want to be, this is where they want to spend their career, and you know, obviously take their game to the next level. He's Matt Zenitz, our SEC insider. Thank you so much. Appreciate the insight as always. And of course, for all your Alabama Crimson Tide updates and for the full press conference, you can visit us on AL.com.